What's wrong?
Nothing. We are good and we are live. Welcome back to the Blind Country Podcast. I hope you're living well out there on this Wednesday when this is up. I have a guest today. We have Nick. Nick, thanks for showing up, man. Thanks for coming on such a last minute.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. This episode we're going to talk a lot about making music and how we record and do all the things. So, for one, where did you start making music? What was the big deal for you? What happened?
Oh, figuring out ideas, how to make my beats better, and how to make them sound good.
Okay. So why did you want to get into making music? What made you want to do that? Because it didn't just happen overnight. You didn't just show up and say, I'm going to be a musician.
I listen to a lot of artists that I like, and their music's great. I like their beats, and I want to make stuff that sounds like their music.
Okay, so will there be an original, will there be an original Nick spin on things? Or are you are you having people you kind of follow and envy? Or what's happening there?
No, I'll make my own stuff. It's just kind of, I'm inspired by their stuff, so I'll be making similar style beats and probably recording vocals on those beats.
Awesome. How long have you been in music?
A couple months now, I've been messing around.
Yeah. What was the first piece of software that you? What was your big? Did you have like a big purchase that you bought something? What was the big purchase for your music creativity? Was it a keyboard? Was it a computer? Was it an iPad? What was it?
I have a MacBook with a MIDI keyboard that I can plug into it and mess around with, and I have Logic.
Awesome. Now, what kind of what kind of MIDI keyboard do you have?
It's a small, I don't know the brand. It has a drum pad machine type thing on it with some sliders and knobs.
Awesome. Man, this thing's been fun. I started making music. I started playing guitar in 2020 when I really kind of hammered home some things and really tried to start out with just trying to figure things out. I didn't really know what I was going to do or not do. And so yeah, that was cool to get after it and do that. When did you know you wanted to do music?
I've been wanting to do it for a while. I just didn't have the computer or the right accessible software for me to use. So I really didn't get to start it until a few months ago when I got my Mac and Logic for iPad came out, and I started messing with that.
Yeah. And so what made you buy Logic and not just use GarageBand or something else?
So it's a lot better. It's got a lot more to it. It's a lot more professional. I mean, yeah, GarageBand's free and has some good stuff and all, but it's not it's not as easy as it seems than Logic. Logic is a bit more simpler, and I've learned how to use it better.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually in my studio. I'm out here in Kansas today recording this podcast. When did you you went to the school for the blind for a year, 1 year, 2 years?
2.
So was there anybody there, any influence there that you kind of like got into music and kind of did a podcast or anything like that?
Well, the first year I was on my own, so no, nobody really did much music, and then the next year I met you, and you kind of started doing this stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we started this whole. But if you guys go back, and I really don't encourage you to do this. But if you go back and look up the Blind Country podcast, the first like 6 or 7, 8 episodes were filmed on an old Sony Handycam. Wasn't what it is now. For now it's just an audio podcast, and it's I think honestly this is gonna be the start of the new season. Season 1 was kind of getting my foot in the door, and I think Nick was on damn near every episode.
I was on a few.
Yeah, more than, yeah. And so this is season 2, episode 1, and this is the first one we've done with the studio equipment, and kind of had a plan and kind of knew what we were doing. If I'm gonna be honest, I called him like 5 minutes before we started this and said, "Hey, you want to do this with me?" Kind of had a plan laid out, and all that good stuff. So yeah, man, boy. I want to have you on again for the second episode to kind of follow up the music and how you got your start. And the next episode I want to talk about accessible technology.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, so I really want to do that, get that out, kind of get this thing off the ground. We've been filming some other videos and other things, so. Yeah, what advice would you have to somebody who's blind or just anybody who wants to do music and kind of get after it? What would you tell them?
Well, for starters, if you don't have a lot of money to spend, get like a 2017 to 2020 MacBook or MacBook Air on Amazon. They're like a few $100, and then get Logic. And just kind of start from there, and then once you get going, start adding more studio equipment to your collection, and build it off from there.
Yeah, and you've been around here long enough, Nick. What did we start on? What did I start this whole thing on?
Your 2012 MacBook.
No. Even further back. What did we start filming YouTube videos on?
The phone.
Yeah, I just started on my iPhone, threw it up on a music stand, and went for it. So it's definitely something that can be done. You just gotta go. You just gotta do it. And if you overthink things, they're really not gonna. It's gonna really negatively impact you. So don't overthink it. Put it into action and just do it, and really get after it and go for it. And I say that, and I've kind of had myself in the past few weeks and days trying to figure out really what I want to do with my life. And yeah, I think this is the start of a new chapter. And I'm super pumped to do these, and I feel like Nick's going to be on a lot of these episodes. And if you guys want to ask questions, I'm going to open up the email. It's jimlewisswain@gmail.com. Email me your questions, whatever it is, for me, for Nick, question for such and so, and then type your question. Try to not make it too terribly long, otherwise it gets gets to be a lot to dissect. So, any questions, I'd love to answer them, and take some time. These first few episodes are going to be kind of shorter, not going to be as long as the normal thing you'll see. And really hope you guys show up and come on and do the thing. So, Nick, any final words, man, before we wrap it up?
No, thanks for having me on. It was fun.
Yeah, this is actually my second podcast of the day, so a little worn down, a little tired, but we're here, we're rocking it. I'll have done 3 this week unless we record another one. 3 podcasts in 1 week. I got one This comes out. It's gonna come out Wednesday. So I had one yesterday and then one again tomorrow. So we're really rocking here. And then I got Friday off too. So who knows? We might record another one Friday for the next week. So yeah, thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. It's been an absolute blast. This whole ride. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing, and we will see you in the next one. All right. Good night.
What's wrong?
Nothing. We are good and we are live. Welcome back to the Blind Country Podcast. I hope you're living well out there. On this Wednesday, when this is up, I have a guest today. We have Nick. Nick, thanks for showing up, man. Thanks for coming on such a last minute.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. This episode we're going to talk a lot about making music and how we record and do all the things. So, for one, when did you start making music? What was the big deal for you? What happened?
Oh,